Welcome to another story made by Oracle 1. In the halcyon days of Portugal's age of discovery, when the Atlantic breeze whispered tales of uncharted lands and promises of vast riches, there lived a man named Sebastião Lourenço. A master cartographer renowned across Lisbon's bustling harbour, Sebastião was entrusted with mapping the courses of the brave explorers who sailed beneath the cross of the Order of Christ, illuminating the contours of a world shifting beyond known horizons. It was the year 1515 when Sebastião was summoned to the Ribeira Palace by King Manuel I himself. The monarch, increasingly obsessed with the prospects of expanding Portugal's maritime empire, awaited a map delineating the latest returns from the expeditions across the Atlantic and around the Cape of Good Hope. In his hands lay parchments crusted with salt and sketches woven from the whispered legends of mariners. But alongside his royal charge was a more personal quest. Sebastião sought to capture the shape of realms unseen, navigating the thin boundary between myth and reality, science and superstition. For months, Sebastião toiled in his candlelit chamber, the walls lined with charts and nautical instruments, his feathered quill scratching tirelessly against vellum. By day, seamen and traders bustled in the praca, shouting from the docks with news from Guinea, Brazil, and the Spice Islands. By night, Sebastião's mind wandered far beyond, guided by stars and the murmuring tales of sailors who spoke of islands cloaked in mist and seas that swallowed whole ships, said to be cursed by ancient gods. His hand grew steady with purpose as he intertwined these accounts with his own observations. The resulting map, a sprawling tapestry of landmasses and waterways, promised to reshape the understanding of the globe itself. In the center, the Atlantic swelled, bordered by the familiar forms of Iberia and the continent of Africa to the south. To the west, a vast expanse marked terra incognita, stretched like an unfinished dream. Then, as if summoned by his imagination, a peculiar anomaly emerged. Within the uncharted waters west of the Azores, Sebastião traced a shape, one not spoken of in any sailor's tale or official log. It was a small island, jagged in outline and surrounded by swirling eddies that seemed to trap vessels. Its location was precise, its contours unmistakable. Yet no ship had reported it, and no expedition had marked its existence. The island was a blot of raw detail in a sea of careful cartography, and it mesmerized Sebastião. Night after night, the island took form beneath Sebastião's unwavering gaze. He named it Ilha da Sombra, the Island of Shadows, hinting at a place swallowed in secrecy and foreboding. Its shores teemed with dense forests, and near the center rose a singular mountain, barren and blackened like the remains of a great fire. An aura of the uncanny clung to it, as if the land itself breathed a silent warning. Word of Sebastião's work spread quickly through the palace corridors and guild halls. Some saw the island as a precious discovery. Others whispered doubts, claiming it was a fabrication born of excessive fancy. Yet Sebastião remained resolute, his conviction sewn from threads of dream and evidence alike. He affirmed that charts, no matter how precise, must sometimes capture the unseen, else the world remained forever tethered to ignorance. The completed map won the king's favor. Manuel I marveled at the breadth of knowledge it brought to the realm. Plans for fleets to seek new routes and claim new lands were drawn from the very contours Sebastião had sown. Among these, an expedition named to find Ilha da Sombra was commissioned. The crown saw in it the promise of untold riches, or at least, a navigable landmark to aid in the ever-expanding network of sea routes. Months later, Sebastião stood once more at the quay, watching as the ships slipped the moorings, filled with eager sailors and seasoned captains sailing towards the unknown. The fateful voyage was laid against a backdrop of taut anticipation and murmured prayers to Saint Anthony and the sea's many saints. Yet beneath the surface of hope was a knot of unease growing within the cartographer's breast. He felt bound, not by fate alone, but by some invisible thread connecting him to that shadowed island. The first letters from the expedition came weeks later, delivered by fast bateau from a nearby trading vessel. They spoke of rough seas and strange fogs that cloaked the ships in their passage westward. Daylight struggled through a veil of mist that thickened as they approached the coordinates marked by Sebastião. Skippers reported compass needles spinning erratically, and several sailors fell ill with fevers and vivid nightmares. Then, all reports ceased. In nervous whispers, rumors circulated in Lisbon's crowded taverns that the fleet had vanished, swallowed by the sea or led astray by the island's curse. The king's council demanded explanations, but the court's astrologers and seers only offered dark omens, predicting dire fates for those who chased shadows across the ocean's face. Haunted by these developments, Sebastião retreated into isolation, wrestling with the consequences of the mark he had placed on the map. Was he a prophet revealing a place best left alone, or a fool bringing ruin to those who trusted his hand? His work, once a beacon of navigation, had blurred the line between discovery and damnation. In the depths of Lisbon's Alfama district, an elderly man named Diego, a former navigator turned lore-keeper, sought Sebastião out. Diego had sailed with Prince Henry's cruise and knew well the sea's whispered mysteries. He believed the island was no ordinary land but a locus where earthly and spiritual realms converged, a threshold of enchantment guarded by forces arcane and ancient. Under candlelight, Diego spoke of the ancients' curse. In ages long past, it was said, a people of immense power dwelled on that island, wielding knowledge that disturbed the natural order. Raised in pride and hubris, they defied the heavens and sea gods alike, and in retribution, the island was cast into shadow, hidden from mortal eyes, shifting in and out of existence with the cycles of the sun and moon. Any who sought it with greed or arrogance were doomed to be lost forever in its grasp. Your map, Diego said in a voice wreathed with gravity, opened a door that was never meant to be found. It is a curse as much as a discovery. The island does not welcome those who would claim it, just as a beast guards its lair. Sebastião trembled, the weight of his endeavors crushing him. The map that once symbolized the pinnacle of human knowledge had instead become a beacon of doom. Yet the yearning to understand, to set the record straight and, perhaps, lift the curse, gnawed relentlessly at his soul. Determined, Sebastião committed to a secret voyage of his own. Under the cover of night, aboard a slender caravel, he set sail into the mysterious waters bearing the Ilha das Sombras coordinates. The crew, sworn to secrecy, trusted their captain's wisdom and the chart drawn by the master cartographer himself. Days passed in an eerie fog, the sea calm yet oppressive. Compasses danced erratically, stars blinked out one by one, swallowed by thickening clouds. The air felt electric, charged with something unseen. Then the island appeared, not as a singular form, but a mirage shifting with every glance, forests breathing, waves breaking at impossible angles, and the black mountain looming like the eye of a storm. Upon landing, the explorers discovered ruins everywhere, pillars sculpted with strange glyphs glowing faintly in the twilight. The forest whispered as if alive, the wind carrying voices in languages lost to time. The crew grew restless, their dreams invaded by spectral visions. Strange lights flickered in the trees at night, and shadows moved independent of their sources. Sebastião found the heart of the island, an ancient temple whose altar bore a map inscribed in silver and crystal. Here, he understood, the island's curse was not merely a punishment but a guardian of knowledge too dangerous for mankind's hands. By drawing Ilha da Sombra on his map, he had broken a sacred silence, awakening powers beyond mortal control. In a desperate act, Sebastião attempted to erase the island from his chart, but the ink would not bleed away, as if the parchment itself refused to forget. Instead, the more he tried to erase, the darker the stain grew, spreading tendrils across the page like living shadows. It was then he realized that the island's presence was bound to his creation, and through it, to the world itself. He fled the island, barely escaping its grasp as the ground trembled and the sea roared in anger. On returning to Lisbon, Sebastião's health waned. His eyes clouded with madness between glimpses of the shadowed island and its cursed knowledge. The king's men, unsettled by strange stories and the cartographer's decline, sealed his maps and imprisoned the charts beneath the palace vaults. But whispers remained. Sailors spoke of a dark island shifting among the waves, appearing and disappearing with the moon's phases. Mariners vanished near its coordinates, never seen again. And Sebastião's name lived on, a legend tangled with treacheries of hubris and mysteries untold. Through the corridors of time, the mapmaker's curse endures. A cautionary tale in the age of discovery. A haunting reminder that some shadows on parchment are better left untouched. For maps may reveal lands, but they may also awaken the darkness lurking just beyond the edge of the known world. For more stories, like and subscribe.